The envelope was already open when he saw her face, and in that moment he knew his career was over. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Chef Daniel Ashford stood backstage at the James Beard Awards. Black tuxedo, polished shoes, rehearsed smile. He'd been waiting for this moment for 12 years. Best new restaurant in America. His name, his kitchen, his legacy. The envelope trembled in the presenter's hands. Daniel leaned forward, and then he saw her, sitting in the front row, judges section, navy blazer, notebook open, eyes locked on him, Sofia Martinez. His stomach dropped. She looked different now, older, polished. Hair pulled back, professional. But those eyes. He'd recognize those eyes anywhere, the same ones that had stared at him 6 years ago when he destroyed her in 4 sentences. The same ones he'd dismissed, ignored, forgotten. She hadn't forgotten him. The presenter was still talking. Daniel couldn't hear the words. The room felt smaller, hotter, his collar too tight. Sofia wasn't smiling, wasn't moving, just watching him. Waiting. The presenter opened the envelope, read the name. It wasn't his. The room erupted in applause. Daniel stood frozen. Someone walked past him toward the stage. He didn't see who, didn't care. His publicist touched his shoulder. He didn't feel it. He just stared at Sofia. She didn't smile, didn't nod, didn't react at all. She just wrote something in her notebook, closed it slowly, then stood up and walked out of the room. Daniel knew exactly what she'd written, the same thing she'd been writing for 6 years. His name, and the word destroyed. 6 years ago, Daniel had destroyed her in 4 sentences. It was a Tuesday afternoon in Austin. Daniel was scouting locations for his second restaurant. Walking down South Congress, seeing what the competition looked like, he stopped at a food truck. Faded paint, handwritten menu, line of people waiting in the heat. Martinez Street Tacos. He ordered 3. Carnitas, barbacoa, rajas. The woman working the window handed them to him in a paper basket. She was young, mid-20s, tired eyes, flour on her forearms. Daniel took 1 bite of the carnitas, then he laughed. The woman looked up. Something wrong? You're charging $12 for this? Is there a problem with the food? Daniel set the basket down, leaned against the truck, smiled like he was doing her a favor. You want honest feedback? She hesitated, then nodded. This is peasant food, Daniel said, and you're not even doing it well. The pork's overcooked, the tortillas store-bought. The salsa tastes like it came from a jar. You're running a food truck like it's someone's backyard birthday party. The woman's face went still. If you're serious about food, Daniel continued, you'd shut this down and go work in a real kitchen. Learn technique. Learn discipline. Learn what cooking actually is. Because this, he gestured at the truck, this isn't cooking, it's microwaving poverty. He walked away, didn't see her face, didn't hear her voice, and didn't care. 3 people in line recorded the whole thing. By that night, the video had 40,000 views. By the next morning, Daniel's PR team was in crisis mode. He issued an apology, called it a miscommunication, donated $10,000 to a culinary scholarship fund, waited for it to blow over. It did. 2 weeks later, nobody cared. His restaurant opened on schedule, got a rave review in Bon Appetit, a feature in GQ, a Michelin star 18 months later. Daniel forgot about Sofia Martinez. She didn't forget about him. The morning after the James Beard Awards, Daniel sat in his office at his flagship restaurant in Manhattan. Floor-to-ceiling windows, view of the Hudson, minimalist furniture, everything exactly where it should be. His phone buzzed, a text from his business partner. We need to talk. And now. Daniel met him in the dining room. The lunch shift hadn't started yet, tables empty, lights dim. His partner, Ryan, stood by the bar, arms crossed, face unreadable. What's going on? Daniel asked. Ryan handed him a tablet. Read this. It was a review, posted an hour ago. Culinary Critique Quarterly, the most respected food publication in the industry. Written by Sofia Martinez. Daniel skimmed the first paragraph, then read it again. Slowly. Daniel Ashford's cuisine is a masterclass in style over substance. His plates are beautiful. His technique is flawless. But his food has no soul. It's the culinary equivalent of a luxury hotel lobby. Expensive, impersonal, and utterly forgettable. Eating at his restaurant is like watching someone perform surgery on a dish that never needed saving. Daniel's jaw tightened, and he kept reading. Ashford's arrogance extends beyond his cooking. It defines it. Every dish feels like a lecture. Every bite, a reminder that you're supposed to be impressed. But great food doesn't demand admiration. It earns it. Ashford hasn't earned anything. He's simply bought his way into a conversation he doesn't belong in. The review went on for 1,200 words, each one sharper than the last. She dismantled his signature dishes, questioned his originality, compared him unfavorably to younger, hungrier chefs. And then, in the final paragraph, she wrote this: 6 years ago, Daniel Ashford told me I wasn't a real cook, that my food was peasant food, that I should shut down and learn what cooking actually is. Today, I'm a James Beard award-winning food critic, and Daniel Ashford is a chef whose best days are already behind him. Daniel set the tablet down, his hands were shaking. She's destroying us, Ryan said quietly. This review is everywhere. Food blogs, Twitter, Instagram, people are cancelling reservations, the phone hasn't stopped ringing. How bad? We're down 30% for the week, and it's only Tuesday. Daniel closed his eyes, took a breath, opened them again. We'll fix this. How? I don't know yet. But he did know. He knew exactly what he had to do. He just didn't want to do it. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying that afternoon in Austin. The food truck, the line of people. Sofia's face when he called her food peasant cooking. He'd thought he was being helpful, honest, real. He'd been cruel. And now she was returning the favor. The next morning, Daniel called his publicist. I need Sofia Martinez's contact information. Daniel, that's a terrible idea. I'm not asking for advice, I'm asking for a phone number. His publicist sighed. She won't talk to you. Let me worry about that. 2 hours later, Daniel had an email address. He stared at the blank message for 20 minutes. Then he started typing. Sofia, I read your review. You're right. About all of it. I was cruel to you 6 years ago, and I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to care. But I wanted you to know that I remember what I said. And I regret it. If there's any way I can make this right, I'm willing to try. Daniel. He hit send before he could change his mind. 3 days passed, no response. Reservations kept dropping. Another review came out. This one in the New York Times, not as brutal as Sofia's, but not kind either. The headline read, Has Daniel Ashford lost his edge? His investors scheduled an emergency meeting. His sous chef quit. 2 line cooks followed. The kitchen felt different now, tense, uncertain. Daniel tried to keep things steady, tried to lead, but he could feel it slipping. On Friday night, his phone buzzed during dinner service. An email. From Sofia. Daniel, your apology means nothing to me. You didn't just insult my food that day. You insulted my life, my family, my culture. You dismissed everything I am because it didn't fit your definition of real cooking. And now you're sorry because it's hurting your career. I don't want your apology. I want you to understand what you did. Sofia. Daniel read it 3 times. Then he wrote back. You're right. I don't understand. Help me. She didn't respond. 2 weeks later, Daniel was losing everything. His second restaurant closed. His Michelin star was under review. His business partner wanted out. His name, once synonymous with excellence, was now a punchline. Food Twitter mocked him. Industry peers distanced themselves. Even his mentors stopped calling. He sat alone in his apartment one night, scrolling through old photos. He found one from culinary school, 22 years old, broke, hungry, working 3 jobs to afford tuition. He remembered what it felt like back then, the desperation, the dream, the belief that cooking could save him. When had he lost that? When had he become the person who crushed other people's dreams? The next day, Daniel did something he'd never done before. He closed his restaurant for lunch service, told his staff to take the day off. And he drove to Austin. It took him 4 hours. He didn't call ahead, didn't plan what he'd say. He just drove. The food truck was still there, same spot, different paint job. The line was longer now, wrapped around the block. Daniel parked across the street, watched people order, watched them eat, watched them smile. Sofia was at the window, older now, confident. She moved with the ease of someone who'd done this 10,000 times. She laughed with customers, called regulars by name, handed out tacos like she was handing out pieces of herself. Daniel waited until the line died down, then he walked over. Sofia saw him coming. Her smile disappeared. "We're closed," she said. "I know." "Then why are you here?" Daniel looked at the truck, the menu, the people still sitting at nearby tables, finishing their meals. "I came to eat," he said. Sofia crossed her arms. "I don't serve people who don't respect food. I deserve that." "You deserve worse," Daniel nodded. "You're right." Sofia stared at him, searching for the angle, the trap, the hidden agenda. "Why are you really here?" she asked. "Because I need to understand what I took from you that day." "You can't." "Then help me try." Sofia was quiet for a long moment. Then she stepped out of the truck, closed the window, sat down at one of the tables, gestured for Daniel to sit. He did. "You humiliated me," Sofia said quietly, "in front of my customers, in front of my city. And you made me feel like everything I'd built was worthless." "I'm sorry." "Stop saying that. Sorry doesn't fix anything." Daniel looked down. "You're right." "Do you even remember what you said?" "Every word." "Say it." Daniel met her eyes. "I called your food peasant cooking. I said you should shut down. I said you weren't a real cook." "And did you mean it?" He wanted to say no, wanted to lie. But she deserved the truth. "At the time?" "Yes. I meant it." Sofia nodded slowly. "At least you're honest." "I was wrong," Daniel said. "Not just wrong, cruel and stupid. Your food isn't peasant cooking. It's the most honest cooking I've ever seen. You haven't even tasted it in 6 years. I watched you for an hour today, watched how you work, how you talk to people, how they look when they eat your food. Is that not something you can fake?" Sofia leaned back. "So now you understand?" "No," Daniel admitted. "I don't, but I want to." She studied him for a long moment. Then she stood up, walked back to the truck, came back with a plate, 3 tacos, carnitas, barbacoa, rajas, the same 3 he'd ordered 6 years ago. "Eat," she said. Daniel picked up the carnitas, took a bite, and stopped. The pork melted on his tongue. The tortilla was warm, handmade, perfect. The salsa had layers, heat, acid, sweetness, depth. This wasn't just food. This was a conversation, a story, a memory wrapped in corn and cilantro. He set it down slowly. "This is better than yours?" Sofia asked. Daniel looked at her. "Yes." She didn't smile, didn't gloat, just nodded. "My abuela taught me how to make these," she said, "every Sunday, for 20 years. She didn't go to culinary school, didn't have a Michelin star, but she fed her family, her community. She made people feel loved. That's what cooking is supposed to be." Daniel felt something crack inside his chest. "I forgot that," he said quietly. "I know. I don't know how to get it back." Sofia stood up. "That's not my problem." She walked back to the truck, started cleaning up for the day. Daniel sat there, alone, with 3 tacos and the weight of 6 years of arrogance. He finished eating. Then he left. Didn't say goodbye, didn't ask for forgiveness. Just drove back to New York. The next week, Daniel made a decision. He called Ryan. "I'm stepping down," he said. "What?" "You're right. I've lost it. And I need to find it again." "Daniel, don't be dramatic." "I'm not. I'm serious. You run the restaurant. I'll stay on as a consultant, but I need to disappear for a while." Ryan was quiet. "Where are you going?" "I don't know yet." But he did know. 3 days later, Daniel was back in Austin, standing outside Sofia's food truck. She was setting up for the day. "What do you want now?" she asked. "A job," Sofia laughed. "Excuse me?" "I want to work here, for free. I'll wash dishes, prep vegetables, Whatever you need. You're insane. Probably, but I'm also serious. Sofia shook her head. Why would I let you do that? Because I need to learn what I forgot. And you're the only person who can teach me. She stared at him, then sighed. 6 weeks, she said. You work mornings. Prep only. You don't talk to customers. You don't touch the line. And if you disrespect anyone, you're done. Daniel nodded. Just deal. For 6 weeks, Daniel chopped onions, diced tomatoes, made tortillas by hand. He showed up at 5 in the morning, left when Sofia told him to. He didn't complain, didn't ask questions, just worked and watched. He watched how Sofia treated her staff, how she trained new hires, how she tasted everything, adjusted, refined, how she remembered every customer's name, every preference, every story. He watched her cook with love, something he'd forgotten how to do. On the last day, Sofia handed him an envelope. What's this? Daniel asked. Payment. You don't have to. Open it. Inside was a check for $1 and a note. You still don't get it, but you're closer. Keep trying. Daniel looked up. Sofia was smiling, just barely. Thank you, he said. Don't thank me. Just do better. Daniel went back to New York, reopened his restaurant. But everything was different now. He simplified the menu, focused on ingredients, on flavor, on making people feel something real. He stopped trying to impress people, started trying to feed them. 6 months later, Sofia published another review. This one was different. Daniel Ashford's new menu is a revelation. Gone is the arrogance, the pretension, the need to prove himself. What remains is honest, soulful cooking. The kind that reminds you why you fell in love with food in the first place. Ashford has finally learned what the rest of us already knew. Great cooking isn't about technique, it's about heart. Daniel read it 3 times, then he framed it. Not because it saved his career, but because it meant he'd finally understood. Sometimes the people we hurt become the teachers we need. And sometimes, redemption doesn't come from being forgiven. It comes from learning to see the world through someone else's eyes. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that it's never too late to change, and that the best lessons come from the people we underestimated.